Hey everyone, so it's Swang. Welcome back to another video. So this week I thought I'd talk a little bit about how to find your art journey, your art path, your art career. I know finding your art career can be a very confusing journey for some people. I know for me that was definitely the case. Just recently I had the privilege of talking to a bunch of RISD students about their portfolio and what they wanted to do, and I saw a lot of myself in them when I was their age. Some students felt very lost, some students really didn't know what they wanted to work on, and it reflected in their portfolio. I kind of wanted to sit down and talk a little bit about my own art journey and how I went from somebody who was 100% committed to going to art school and transitioned into going to a liberal arts college, exploring, and then finally finding themselves in a webtoon producer role. So I definitely think everyone's journey is different, but I think just having walked through the path of being very confused with what I want to do, I have a little bit of advice that I'd like to share to everyone, and so hopefully this will help you feel a bit better if you are lost in your art journey. So yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So as usual, I'm going to talk a little bit about my own personal experiences growing up. We're gonna start all the way from the very beginning. 5 or 6 year old Swang, baby little Swang. I was a very hyperactive child, but the only time you would see me just silent and completely just like in the zone, it was when I was drawing. And my mom noticed that and was like, okay, so this girl likes to draw, obviously we're going to put her in drawing, like in art classes. I think I mentioned this in my high school art portfolio video, which I'll link down below, but basically this after school art school was kind of a very traditional art school. So they start with the foundation, the basics, and I did a lot of sketching, a lot of still life, and I'm really grateful I had that experience because I was able to really hone in on my technique and get like a really good foundation for my art. Because I went through that journey, I really thought I was going to go into art school. Like that was kind of my thing. My dream art school was Rhode Island School of Design, which I ended up getting into, and I was pretty convinced that I would go because for me it felt like a sense of accomplishment. All of the hard work I put into previously for art competitions, for APIB art portfolios would culminate to me getting into Rhode Island School of Design. I could prove to my peers, I can prove to myself, I can prove to my mom that, hey, I achieved something through all of the hard work that I've put in. So that was kind of the mentality I had going in. But there was a part of me that was a little bit hesitant because while I was doing this, I felt myself getting more and more burnt out. And I think what was happening was I wasn't drawing for myself, I was drawing for others. I was making art to get the approval from others. I wasn't making art purely for my own enjoyment, purely because it speaks to me. I was constantly thinking, oh, what would I draw in my portfolio that would impress other people? And because I wasn't drawing from my own passions, from my own desires, I really quickly got burnt out. I developed a really bad relationship with art at that point. The things that I was drawing and everything were just very not connected to what I really wanted to do. So this chapter will be mostly about how I got from a confused, doing every single major that's open in the book college student to a webtoon producer at age 23. I went in as an art major and I took art classes for strictly 1 semester, and I was like, fuck this. For some reason, I could not find myself sitting in class for critique. I was skipping classes, I was showing up late to class. I almost failed one of my fundamental art classes because I just stopped showing up. So the teacher was like, hey, if you stop showing up, you're gonna fail this class. You're currently at a D. And I was like, oh, so maybe this isn't for me. So I very quickly changed my major into psychology. And psychology is something that I have been very passionate about. You guys may know, like, I'm very interested in mental health. Like, I have been struggling a lot with mental health in the past, and so this was a field that has been very intriguing to me, and it also incorporates things that I just enjoyed learning, like sciences and math and statistics. Meanwhile, I picked up a bunch of different tiny little minors. I decided to pick up an entrepreneurship minor at the business school, where I learned a ton about pitching and about creating your business and about presenting and talking to people. And then I also picked up an animation minor at the cinema school, where I learned about animation techniques, the history of animation, script writing, making films, all the things that I love doing. I was balancing all these really weird different majors and minors and really thinking to myself, this is gonna be really hard for me to find a job. That really got me thinking, what do I really like to do? What is something that I truly enjoy doing? Meanwhile, while my classes were happening and all of my school kind of like exploration was happening, I was also, and I mentioned this as well in previous videos, kind of exploring art as well in a way that had no responsibility. The craziest thing about not having any expectations when it comes to your drawing and not putting any academic expectations on your art is that you truly just kind of deviate back to all the things you enjoyed doing as a kid. That was the first time I found like a fandom online that I really enjoyed contributing to, and you guys may know it's the Voltron fandom. It was such a powerful moment for me because that's what got me into making digital art, that's what got me into making fan art. I was very much immersed and just having so much fun with this newfound love for art. I no longer felt burnt out. I felt like it was a new phase in my art journey, and I felt a lot more connected to my art. I felt a lot more refreshed when I was drawing, and so I knew that the field that I wanted to go into was something related to whatever that situation was. When WEBTOON's job applications opened, I immediately thought that this would be for me. And the amazing thing about truly pursuing your passions and your innermost desires is that the universe lines up for you. And it's not in a way that's like voodoo, like, you know, oh, the universe aligns towards you. It's because you are passionately pursuing the things that they're looking for inadvertently. You are doing all the things that they're looking for in a candidate, not because you want to be that ideal candidate, but because you're already aligned as the ideal candidate, if that makes sense. I knew deep down that my passions, my desires aligned so well with what WEBTOON believed in. I mean, small creators, narrative stories, digital platform, giving creators a voice in an entertainment scene that was so heavily dominated by Hollywood. All of these things were so close to the things that I believed in. When I say the universe aligns, it aligns because you are working towards your passion, and your passion is seen by those who want what you can offer. So now that I've talked a little bit about my own art journey, I'm going to talk a little bit about how this can benefit you, because as I mentioned before, I talk to a lot of RISD art students as part of my job. I have a couple of common themes that I see in these students that I wanted to point out. Usually in art school, you will see two different types of people, and this is a very, very big generalization, but I kind of see it like this. There's the one type of person that kind of was just born out of the womb knowing what they wanted to do. They sat down one day as a kid and was like, I love animating, and I've been animating ever since I was 6 years old, and I've been, you know, this is my dream school and I know exactly what I want to do. I want to work at Cartoon Network or work at Disney, blah, 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 blah. And that's amazing. That's perfectly fine. And then you've also got the second group of students that is like, I've always liked drawing, I've always liked art, but I don't really know exactly what I want to do with it. I don't really know what my job would be after it. I just know that I like art and I want to have it as a career. And both of this is completely fine. Both of this is amazing. But the biggest problem that I see with this is that I see that the kids who are still exploring and still learning are constantly comparing themselves to the kids who already know what they want to do, thinking that they should be like them and have everything figured out, when that is not the case. The issue about going to art school with that mindset is that you feel rushed to kind of reach their level. But the anxiety of not, you know, of wanting to catch up will keep you away from truly exploring avenues that maybe would give you more insight on what you really wanted to do. And this is because exploring and trying something new involves being terrible at something. But this process is so important because once you try that new thing, say, is it video editing or using After Effects or, you know, all these kinds of things, picking up a new medium, that's when you decide and realize, hey, I really like this, or no, I don't like this at all. And so that process is very important for people who are still exploring what they want to do with their career paths. And because they're in a very competitive art environment, it's very hard to make that call to sacrifice some of their pride in the things that they already know they are good at in order to try something new. Not only that, because their curriculum is so intense, there definitely is an art burnout that happens there, and it's even harder to make art for school and then after school be like, let me explore and see what kind of art I like to make outside of school. If you do decide to go to art school, it's something to be aware of. So when you are making your work for school, when you're completing art assignments, thinking critically about why you're making something or what you want to try to explore while you're making that assignment can really help to give you the best bang for your buck. So definitely thinking critically about the assignments that you want to make and thinking critically about the things that you want to explore and how you can incorporate it into your current class curriculum can really help kind of maneuver the exploration process in a very intensive art environment. So should or should you not go to art school? I think that is the age-old question that all artists struggle with. It really depends on the person. And not only that, if you decide to go to art school or if you decide to not go to art school, I think both of these choices have pros and cons. People are lying when they say that college is the most important 4 years of your life. Like, honestly, why are you giving 18 to 21-year-olds? I mean, they're like children, they're babies. You just left your home to go into the real world. How do you expect people to know exactly what they want to do at that age? College should be the time of your life where you are trying to learn more about yourself, to explore the world. It is the first time you have stepped foot outside of your small pond into a big pond, and you're trying to figure out your relationship with yourself and the world. And I really don't think, you know, you should be really pressured to make any big decisions about what you want to do for your life at that point in time if you're not ready. So my biggest advice is this: just trust your gut. If you think something is off with the decision that you made, it's probably because there is something out there that is calling you that you can't see yet, but you have a feeling, like you know that there's something out there that's calling you and you have to search for it and find it. I was pretty dead set on going to RISD, but I had a gut feeling that something was off. And, you know, there was something that I had yet to explore in the world that I knew RISD wouldn't give me. I mean, in high school and in middle school, I really liked filming. I was always on the broadcasting team. I loved making vlogs. I mean, I still do. I was interested in startups. I was interested in entrepreneurship. I was interested in psychology. I was interested in sciences. There were so many things that I felt like I would be missing out on if I went to an art school. Things that I felt a pull towards, things that I was interested about. And I knew that if I went to RISD, I wouldn't be able to explore these other aspects of myself. At the time, I couldn't really vocalize exactly that's how I was feeling, but there was a gut feeling that something was off and that if I make this decision, I will be sacrificing these other parts of myself that have yet to be fully explored. And so that's my biggest advice when you're trying to make this decision. Maybe things aren't clear at the moment, but your gut, your true instincts, your true desires and passions are always there guiding you. And so you sometimes have to just trust yourself and take that leap of faith and go into the unknown. You'd be very surprised to see what you find there. I mean, you'll definitely learn more about yourself, learn more about what you don't and do like, and just the other aspects and facets of your life and your personality would just come into fruition more. Essentially, you'll learn more about yourself. So that's going to be my ultimate kind of advice for if you want to go to art school or not. So yeah, I wish you guys the best of luck in your own art journey. I hope this video helped a lot. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed making this video, and I think I'll be making more like this, just talking, giving advice, talking about my own thoughts, and yeah, hopefully it can help you just make the right decision for yourself and help illuminate things in your life. And so yeah, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to give it a like, thumbs up. You can throw in the comments what I could talk about next, and I will be trying my best to get out videos every single week. So if you'd like to join me in my own journey, feel free to follow and hit the subscribe button. And without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next video, and yeah, bye!